If we can just book 5% more of calls, we close one extra deal. Yo, what's up guys, my name's Sam Arch, just making a video on the lessons that we learned last week and the things that we're going to be changing this week to make more money. I want to be abundantly clear on why I'm actually making these videos. First reason is to attract better talent to my team, because if we get better talent, we make more money. And the second reason is to put me in better circles. If higher leverage people watch these videos, it forces me to network with those people and put me in better circles. And then the third reason just being to hold myself accountable and kind of document the journey. One of the biggest things we learned, or one of the biggest things I did, is I just realized, like, as the founder, I shouldn't be doing no bullshit tasks. Just kind of like playing the chessboard, bringing on the right people into the team and knowing what their role is. If you think about it like when you actually play chess, you have like the knight, the rook, and they can only move like specific ways, right? They have like their own like configuration on what they can move. Doing the exact same thing with your team members. Example of this is we're building out a new CRM. We're moving away from high level and onto close. For the main reason of our lead flow is way too high for high level. There's all these bullshit bugs that we're getting. For example, one of the bugs we're getting is like Google Meet link is not populating in the calendar for some weird reason. So we're moving away from that and we're moving into close. And I was looking at this close CRM, like, fuck, how do I even build this out? Where do I even start? And then I came to the realization of why the fuck am I even looking at this thing to build out? So the person that's making the money from the setters booking more calls and making more money is obviously I got my sales manager and I got my setter manager. So kind of looking at that, like, okay, who's directly incentivized to make sure this actually works the most efficient way? It would be the setter manager, right? Because he's in control of how many book calls that we're booking per day. Bonus for me is he actually already knew how to use Close CRM. I've never used it before. I've just been a high level merchant. So I gave him the task. I was like, look, Close CRM, we're launching it on Monday, which is today. I need you to build this out. I just want it done. Here you go. Here's all the resources you need to actually get it done. And then sent him on his way and he started building it. So that should be done today. And then we can launch that on our team call right after this trim. And then we can see how that goes. I'll let you guys know how it kind of rolls out. I think we'll be able to book more calls. Like, it is kind of expensive though. It's like $100 per team member per month. So with our team, it's around like $3,000 a month just for that CRM versus high level, which is like $200, or basically free because we're using our agency account. But the way I think about it is, yeah, it's an additional $3K a month in expenses, but if we can just book 5% more of calls and we close one extra deal because of a call that we wouldn't have booked otherwise, then it makes it well worth the investment. So that's one thing we did. I also ran a internal webinar on Thursday of last week. We had around 150 registrants, which was cool. The show rate wasn't the best. Show rate, we only had around 30 people actually show up. However, we made some instant cash from that webinar straight away. We put a few of our sales guys sent their follow-ups or lost leads to the webinar. And then I basically ran the webinar. It only went for an hour, which I was pretty happy with. And then straight after the webinar, the sales guys are in the chat and they realized some of their leads are actually in the chat. And then they just gave them a call straight after the webinar. And then literally 20 minutes after I ran the webinar, we had a 12.5K deal come in on a 2Pay. And there you go, instant ROI from that. Running the webinar, I'd never run a webinar before. It was a bit of getting out of my comfort zone to actually just like kind of figure it out and just send it. Like, I didn't actually know what I was doing. I spent way too long building the fucking webinar deck. I was procrastinating on that way too long, but eventually sent it and yeah, it was pretty easy. Made some cash from it. So it's definitely something we'll continue to do, and I'll probably run it like bi-weekly webinar and then just send all of our leads to it. One thing I want to learn is how can I get our show up rate better and how can I get more people in it? With it just being internal and it just been an SMS or an email blast, it's kind of hard, but maybe I'll put some paid ads. It's one thing I'm thinking of doing to increase the numbers there. Apart from that, yeah, I think the biggest lesson we learn is just playing your cards accordingly, getting yourself out. Like, you need to picture yourself, if you're a founder, as the chess master, and then have all your core team players as the chess pieces, and then just putting them into the positions they need to be in and just playing them accordingly to get the highest quality output. So that's one thing that we're shooting for. We got 13 reps now. Each rep is booking around 12 calls per day. We're trying to get our show rate up. Last week it was pretty low. We changed some SMS messages to try and increase the show rate, but I actually just fucked it a bit harder and decreased it. So then we reverted. One thing we also got set up is like SendBlue. So our closers now have the ability to send a message from an iPhone, which is going to be quite handy. I think it's also going to increase show rate. So you're going to have the setter book the call, and then they're going to get these automated texts from the setter to try and get them confirmed. And then like 15 minutes after they book the call, they're going to get a message from the closer, which is obviously going to be automated on our half, but it's just going to be like, hey, lead name, closer's name here. Just seen that my assistant said his name, booked us in for a call. Can you just confirm that you're still good for X time? Just a simple message like that, super short, straight to the point. But the good thing about like a SendBlue, or we're using something called Link, is because it's coming from an iPhone, you can get a contact card, which is basically like a profile photo and a name. So the number won't pop up as spam because it's an actual Apple number. So that's the next thing I'm trying to increase the show rate to get it above 70%. If we can increase our show rate, each closer on average needs to give us 50 grand a week. So 13 closers at 50 grand a week, it's around 700K that we're shooting for over the next 7 days, which will put us on track for that 5 mil a month target in September. Next things I'm trying. So those are the main things that I learned and did over the past 7 days. What I'm trying now is I'm going to switch our offer up a little bit, or look into switching it up. So doing a DIY and a done for you offer. So like a do it yourself on the lower ticket, and then a done for you on the higher ticket, because AOV is 23K right now. I want to get it higher. If we can just increase our AOV by an extra couple grand a month, a couple grand per sale, let's just call it an extra 3K per sale, and we're doing around like 30 deals a week, that's an extra 90 grand that we've just made from no extra inputs. So I'm looking into changing our offer. The good thing about it is, because if we do like a do it yourself, obviously Facebook Ads Manager is like extremely difficult to navigate for someone that's in our ICP. But WAP ads, I'll give it to them. It's very easy to launch. And because they have a direct API, we could probably just launch it for them with AI. So I'm going to have my AI developer looking into actually launching on WAP ads. Another thing we're doing with WAP is having all of our client like payments. One thing that we're doing to actually make our product more sticky is have our clients like payment channel through WAP, which means we can host it on our own client dashboard. So they can send invoices, get BNPL options from WAP, but we can basically white label it to be our company. That way, it makes our product way more sticky, and we can actually see how much the clients are making as well, which will make our tracking way better as well. So kind of just leveraging the things that WAP has to our advantage, I think it's going to be a big thing for us in the service delivery side. And then also we got fucked by Split It. We lost Split It this week, which is pretty devo, because we had like, when you do Split It, because we've fresh started on Split It on a new account, the dispute rate can't be higher than 2%. But the first dispute, which I learned, is like the first dispute doesn't count. So you get the first dispute, which was some bullshit dispute, and then we had a client that wants a refund. So we're like, yeah, cool, we can refund you, but it was on a 20K deal. So we told him we'll refund you what we netted. So Split It's 15%. So I think it's like, we netted around 17 grand. So we refund him the 17K. And then this scumbag decides to dispute the 20K, which then obviously increases our dispute rate above 2%, which there goes WAP, Split It out the window. But it's all good. I think it's a fucking closer issue anyway. Like, if they're using Split It, they obviously have the cash, because Split It just uses what they have on credit cards and then just splits it up. So if they have the money on the credit card, it means they can pay in cash. So we just need to get our closers better, which is a big focus on the week, is just drop the bottom performers and then keep the top guys and just keep bringing in new closers until we get like a solid team of killers. Right now we have 13 closers, but I'm predicting that like a couple of them won't be able to hold the same standard as the rest of the guys. So then we'll just drop them and bring more people in. I also brought in a recruiter this week. So just someone that can consistently give us salespeople, because the worst thing is like when you're relying on a sales guy. One thing I learned is like, if you have a sales guy and he's like your only sales guy, if he's shit, you're kind of in a tough spot. You need to keep him on to collect new cash, but you also know he's shit. So you can't sack him, but you need to sack him. So just having like a recruiter that you can just pay on like a per hire or like a monthly fee, and then him just bringing you fresh salespeople on like a weekly basis, So then you can kind of just cherry pick the guys that you want. And if a recruiter, you know, if he's a bit of a scumbag, he'll actually go out and poach closers from top offers as well, which, like, realistically, online business is just a talent acquisition game. If you can get better talent, you can make more money. Hence why I'm making these videos here. So if you have a recruiter, they can just go and just poach you top talent and basically just rip them off offers that they don't deserve to be on. Like, the offer doesn't deserve to have them because they're either not making enough, or they'll make like 20 grand, but like it'll be off like 30, 40 deals when it's like, bro, I can make you 20 grand off fucking like 10 deals. You just tell them the benefits of your offer. Recruiter poaches them, brings them to you, you bring them on, you get a better team, you make more money. So yeah, those are a few of the core lessons that I learned this week and the things that we're going to be implementing over the next 7 days to hit our weekly goal. Again, I want to make it abundantly clear why I'm making these videos. First thing is to attract better talent. Second thing, to put me in better circles. Third thing, to kind of document the journey and the core lessons that I've learned. I'm not really here to sell shit. I don't want to sell a course. I can't really be fucked teaching a bunch of bots how to make 10K a month. So if you want to follow me on Instagram and connect, it's CEO Arch. It'll be in the description. But yeah, that's all from me.